Well, good morning. It is June 24th, 2024. My name is Adam Blue, and this is the, excuse me, BlueGamer Bluecast morning show. I am Adam Blue, professional video game enthusiast of 30 plus years with so much knowledge in gaming, the industry, a whole bunch of stuff. So yeah, let's get into it. I'll talk about what I got into this weekend and some news. Morning, Ultronomous. Good to see you there in the chat. Yeah, so what was this weekend about game-wise? Well, actually, I didn't do as much gaming as I wanted to. And originally, I planned to play a lot of Elden Ring. But I didn't. I think I brought this up on Friday's show. I loaded it up. I'm in my new game plus. I'm pretty much near the point I need to be for the DLC. But it's just when I loaded it up, I got this, PTSD. Granted, I have 128 hours. I'm level 199. And there was just this feeling of okay, I've done enough here. I need to do something else. And I loaded it up again over the weekend. And just as soon as I looked at the map, I was like, man, I've been in this world so much. I'm just going to take a break. But then that reminded me. So when Bloodborne DLC came out, that was the first Souls game that I beat right when it came out. And then when the DLC came out, I remember I played some of it and I never finished it. And then, I'm thinking back, okay, Dark Souls 3 DLC came back and I never bothered finishing it. And then the original Dark Souls and Dark Souls 2, by the time I was playing those, they already had their additions with the DLC built in and it was part of my, flow. So I guess that's kind of what it is sometimes for DLC. If it's outside of my flow, it's I don't know. It's very interesting, but it's one of those things where I try not to dwell on it too much. And, and that's the thing. I bought this Elden Ring figure I'm so hyped. And then even this figure's a little disappointing. And it's funny, there's this reviewer, Nostalgia Unboxed, YouTuber that reviews action figures. And same thing, it was funny, he reviewed this and had the same thoughts as me. It's like all the Elden Ring hype got him to buy it, but then the figure itself was kind of basic for the price. I don't know. It's an interesting little thing. But speaking of figures, the other figure that I got this weekend is this Dhalsim from Street Fighter 2. Again, this is the Jada Toys. There's a whole lot of these. These are so nice. Actually, I have them all now. There's not too many, but what's cool is he comes with long, bendy arms and legs that you can actually remove and replace. Also, I love that it has, let's see, the bracelets here that are movable. It has, this little necklace, and it's made out of a rubber that's very easy to move. But there's also earrings that are made out of some sort of metal there. So it's very detailed action figure, whereas this is $25. This was $60. The Elden Ring was $60. I just prefer this for so many more reasons. It is kind of crazy, how all that went down. But so this weekend, again, I didn't play a whole lot. I planned to. In fact, there was just a lot of things that went on with the kids. The oldest had his baseball games. The middle had some birthday stuff. The youngest, we took him to Urban Air to play with a friend. Urban Air. So what I was mainly doing was playing Portrait of Ruin, yes, Castlevania game, on the DS, but on that, my custom DS. I did a video about. In fact, that video exploded. It's not too often that I have videos on this channel that take off. That one did. Hopefully get some new people to show up during the live stream. But yeah, playing Portrait of Ruin. I am doing it now to where I'm doing something that I didn't normally do with the Castlevanias, is going and get the rest of the souls, skills, whatever, finding the enemies. And I'm pretty much almost done. I love how much this game does it where there's two characters, how you have Jonathan, how you have Charlotte. I love that you can switch between them, use them at the same time. I don't know, it just adds more to the game that I really like. But let's see. Another thing playing through is just how good the music is in that game. Every Castlevania has amazing music. And that brings me to the other thing I worked on a lot this weekend. Excuse me, just that morning Sometimes I have trouble in the morning, but I've been making music for a video game that is in the making that could potentially come out, and it's more of I decided, well, I'd like to make the music for this since I like making music. So I went ahead and got FL Studio. I've been practicing. I've just been making my thing is I make a jam every day, pretty much. It might not be a full song, but at least a loop or something every day to kind of get myself back familiar with using FL Studio, with finding all the different sounds I want to use. Just listening to the Castlevania music just really, really inspires and motivates me to make video game music because that music is just so good. Like, there's video game music that's good enough, and then there's video game music that they went above and beyond. Like Castlevania music, in my opinion, is almost better than the game itself, even though I really like the game. It's just amazing. But actually, let me move over here to my Exophase profile. This is again where I aggregate all of my platforms I've been playing on. Yeah, there we go with Castlevania Portrait of Ruin. Yeah, over the weekend got to level 50, got the last HP thing, beat the boss. And then, yeah, because of Street Fighter, I went, because what I was doing was loading up the Street Fighters on the emulators to figure out, what is the best version that I should be playing. And it is very interesting because I never really did this direct comparison before. But the arcade version of Street Fighter 2 versus the console version, it's very interesting how different they are, yet they feel the same. A lot of it has to do with the music and sound effects and the basic design, but even between the two, a lot of it has to do with making a smaller character to fit on that hardware at that time. So it just looks really different. But then it reminds me of like when I would play on Game Boy or Game Boy Advance or Neo Geo Pocket Color, the fighting games where they have the chibi style smaller characters, but it still worked. It's just you just have to get that animation done and the controls done. But that's very interesting how different they all are. And then yeah, there's Elden Ring. I played a little bit of that. Let's see. Yeah, and I got an achievement in that Street Fighter. That's pretty cool. But yeah, and that's the thing. Because over the weekend I was looking at some sales and I saw that Street Fighter 6 was on sale, and it's like, but I haven't even played Tekken 8 either, and I haven't played the new Guilty Gear or King of Fighters, because I'm normally playing these games. So it's like I got to pick one fighter, play it, and usually it's just with the characters, play the story, move on. And I feel like I haven't really gotten to the fighting games in a while. Need to do that. So yeah, that was, not too much game playing going on, but that's okay. That happens every once in a while, even though I thought it was going to be loaded with Elden Ring. I really did. Let's see. Yeah, again, it was funny. That reviewer, he's really cool to talk to, and I was telling him how, like, I think the hype of Elden Ring is what got me to buy the DLC in this, and he was saying the same thing, and I think, and there's another thing, like, I wish the Elden Ring DLC came out closer to when the game came out, because I really think I've moved on. It's kind of weird. Okay. But let's move on together, shall we? What are some... I know I was looking for some news articles. I thought this was pretty cool. Someone designing a game with AI. I know we've seen that a lot. But there's this new Claude 3.5 Sonnet by Anthropic. Anyway, I was just reading this and looking at this and how the guy was like telling it, yeah, build me an 8-bit crab, build me 8-bit seashells. Yeah, and then a little bit. It's very basic, but at least this can get some ground work done, foundational, I guess, video game work done, so then you could do the other stuff you need to do. So it's very cool. Just seeing how quickly people can make certain games that they want to make. It'd be interesting when you get to a point where there's people that are just good with AI, maybe not necessarily development, and through the AI, they make some amazing things that maybe developers wouldn't have thought of. So, yeah, just some neat stuff. Hey, Rogue New Type, good morning. Good to see you. Okay, so this other one, it was very interesting. The characters that got announced for Street Fighter 6, SNK characters, and I guess it was a producer. Um, was actually hoping to work with Capcom some more, although they have in the past quite a bit, like SNK versus Capcom or Capcom versus SNK, things like that. But you would think you would see it a little more. He goes on to reveal they're still meeting up with Capcom staff regularly, along with his interest to do more collaborations should Terry and Mai prove to be a success. We're meeting with them quite a bit recently, so if the SNK characters continue to be a hit for them, there'll definitely be more possibilities in the future. We're always interested in working with them, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, reading this, it makes me feel like I've really fallen out of the video or the fighting game, and not necessarily scene, but just more of understanding what are the popular games, who's making them, where there's the rivalry. Yeah, I don't really pay too much attention to individuals that are good at fighting games. I just like the games themselves. Let's see. Let's move on a little bit. What was something else? Oh yeah, I saw something here about a Resident Evil Netflix series, which we had one recently, didn't we? And I don't think it did too well. And then, Capcom produces the CGI regularly, but honestly, I think this is just another means of them to do some marketing. Sometimes these shows, they come out and they, just kind of help sell games, which I think is cool, especially if the show turns out good. Then we get multiple cool things. We get a good game, good show. I don't think Resident Evil's ever had like a really good game or show. The CGI stuff is closest to it. Those movies that came out in the past, like, they're not bad. They're just not totally Resident Evil. It's kind of a weird thing, especially when these movies about video games or TV shows, they come up with a new character to make the center of it, and it's like this. No. And then speaking of some other rumors, it looks like there's a casting call for Battlefield 7. The project is Timeless Fields, and I'm assuming that they're assuming it's Battlefield 7, but they probably have good reason to. What could Battlefield 7 do that's different than what's out right now? Just go back to classic Battlefield 2 style. Larger maps, some downtime. That's the thing with Battlefield 2, or Battlefield 1942, or any of those. I remember when you'd start a map, it was so big, there's so much to do that sometimes there'd be downtime before you got to anything. Sometimes I would turn off people, and I wonder if they're trying to stop that from being a thing, but I feel like there's room for Battlefield 7 alongside what Call of Duty's doing. Especially if these companies or like EA's to take Battlefield 7 and make it very much the military shooter, whereas Call of Duty has turned into more of the shooting pastime, because you could be, a blunt and shoot people. So, yeah, interesting to see what could happen in Battlefield 7. I think that's all the stuff that I grabbed on my own. So, yeah, we can now go through the headlines, see if there's anything new, like, interesting news or anything. I see the UK retailer Game will reportedly stop selling physical games in store, but then there was an update. I saw another article saying that is not true. That's news for you. Okay. Well, yeah, okay. Oh, okay. Wuthering Waves, I gotta say, I've heard of that. Don't remember. Looks interesting. Looks like trying to do another Genshin Impact. Yeah, very much like in Genshin Impact. Okay. That looks pretty neat. It'd be cool to try a game for a few minutes to see how cool it is. Man, this article is long. I wonder if they got paid for that. Let's see. Some more sports at the top of the charts. I don't really... Xbox tech leaders to close... Or, I don't know. I don't know. I haven't heard of these. Just some companies like this news is very light. Okay, Microsoft Flight Simulator hits 15 million players. I mean, that sounds like a good number. So good for them. I've barely played that. It looks cool. It seems cool. It seems like my thing. And you know what? I have a flight stick. I should probably make use of that. I bought the flight stick on Xbox and PS4. Why did I buy them both? There had to have been a reason. I bought it on the Xbox for something, but then I bought it on the PS4 because I got the PSVR and the Star Wars Squadrons. Okay, let's see. Anything else cool? There's not many interesting news articles. So, Obsidian's Avowed is similar in length to the Outer Worlds. So, I'm interested in Avowed only because everyone keeps talking about it, but I don't know. Man, not too much going on, just some sales. Which, yeah, we're always seeing Grand Theft Auto at the top. Paper Mario, the 1,000-Year Door remains in first on Swiss charts. So random. A lot of these countries. Streamer defeats Shadow of the Erdtree boss using her brainwaves. Okay, this sounds like some new type BS. Let's see. Let's look at this. Is this even real? Is this even real? Okay. Let's see. Everyone's complaining. Okay, for months, Perry Carriel, has been slaying the toughest Elden Ring bosses using various methods, but her most recent conquest has involved using an EEG-powered head-mounted controller with an onboard gyroscope. This fancy piece of technology has required Perry Carriel to map her brainwaves to synchronized inputs, and then quite literally train her brain to work how she wants, emitting brainwave events that are captured by the headset and translated into movements, attacks, and other mechanics in game. It sounds insane. I mean, isn't that what Neuralink is for? Yet someone's just doing it at home. In every clip, she's shown using the headset. She's always deep in concentration, even thinking the wrong thing could throw off her game. Here's a clip she uploaded after defeating Divine Beast Dancing Lion in the Shadow of the Erdtree. So that's interesting. I mean, how real is that? It almost seems like it's fake, even though I'm seeing the Neuralink stuff, so it seems like it's real, but I would like to play Souls like that. While some users are understandably skeptical of the legitimacy of Perry Carriel's gameplay, she has uploaded lengthy videos explaining how it all works and has invited friends to try out the hardware too. They're just nowhere close to her level. That sounds bizarre. If I feel like it, I might look into it more later. Yeah, that's interesting. It's like, a new type streamer autonomous. That's literally what it is. Huh. All right. Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree receives mixed Steam reviews amidst difficulty and performance complaints. Well, both of those seem like Elden Ring things. I mean, when Elden Ring came out, it had its performance issues. Man, even when Dark Souls first came out on 360, my God, I beat Dark Souls on the 360. In, what is that place? That certain part where it's under 30 FPS the whole time? I truly beat it. But it's hard, and that's what these things. And then performance complaints. Yeah, even Bloodborne has the frame pacing issues. It could just be people complaining, but I don't know. That's some cool art right there, by the way. Palworld seemingly teases PS5 version. I would think so. I would think so. You would think that they would do that. Okay, what's this X Defiant? It just says X Defiant. I guess someone's just talking about it. I went to play this weekend, actually. I loaded up Ubi Connect, went into the game, and the servers were down, and then I didn't play. It's like, I could have played. Nintendo won't reveal Mario and Luigi's new developer, but says original staff are involved. Yeah, it doesn't really matter when it's Nintendo. Prominent Nintendo leaker locks account after source revealed as employee. Yeah, that was a pretty interesting turn of events where the way the Nintendo I guess they had it where some URLs on the back end were kind of teasing what would then be, in the showcase, but these URLs were planned to go up later. Just someone had them in the hopper ready to go. And they were able to track down by not giving that person, I guess, the URLs to put up ahead of time. So when nothing got leaked, they were like, okay, I think we know who it is. That's very interesting. 3 is a trend. Echoes of wisdom and the experimental nature of modern Zelda. Wonder why they're saying 3 is a trend. Are they just talking about like how the last 3 Zeldas? Oh, if we ignore the 2019 remake of Link's Awakening. Which I think that engine kind of served as a proof of concept for this. And this looks great. Like, Link's Awakening was getting boring as I was playing. That's why I never finished it. Or the remake. Because I love the original. I played it on Game Boy Color. I think in, like, the new engine, it loses some of its charm. But having a new engine where there's new gameplay elements like we're going to see with this new one is exactly what I want from a Zelda. So that's exciting. I'm really excited about this Zelda. Even though Tears of the Kingdom, I didn't get too far. I think I beat one dungeon area. And then even that, I was like, yeah, okay, I've done this. I think because of Breath of the Wild. So then I would most likely then play this because we're getting back to this different but newer engine that's being used for the 2D games. We're having the more experimental gameplay. I'm down for this. This sounds a lot of fun. Sounds like a lot of fun. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, look at those screenshots, too. Like, yeah, it looks just like the Link's Awakening remake, but just with this new gameplay, I'm really looking forward to it. It's because the gameplay lends itself to, the emergent style of sort of manipulating the world around you and doing it with the graphics like this, looking down on the character. It's going to be a lot of fun. So 1 month on, how's X Defiant doing? Well, let's see, actually, if they happen to have more information on this. I tend to go to Insider Gaming a lot. They must have the best titles, if I'm clicking in on them. Big numbers. Our exclusive report revealed that X Defiant hit 1 million players worldwide in just 2.5 hours, which made it the most successful Ubisoft launch ever by sheer numbers. In a couple of days, X Defiant had secured 3 million players and staggering concurrent player numbers across all platforms. It was considered a success at launch, even if most players were dabbling in the game just to see what was on offer. In terms of what X Defiant now offers, it's appropriate to describe it as a run-of-the-mill first-person shooter. It has guns, it has abilities, and it has a diverse array of maps and modes that will satisfy the appetite of the average gamer. There are more casual, unranked modes that don't use SBMM mechanics, and there's more regimented ranked platform that's perfect for the more skilled competitor. It's the kind of content you'd expect from any shooter these days, and the offering aligns it quite nicely with Call of Duty. Okay. I mean, it sounds all positive, but how is X Defiant doing? X Defiant feels nice enough to play. We don't have updated numbers, but it's easy to see how X Defiant's popularity has dipped considerably since being released on May 21st. On Twitch, X Defiant went from a peak concurrent viewer count of 203,000 in May to current peak in June of just 57,000, and it's declining, even with some of the most popular Call of Duty pro players ever being attracted to X Defiant. The audiences just aren't there, which suggests the game might be more fun to play than it is to watch. That could be it. Also, the other thing, and I think it was almost like a scary lesson to learn with Helldivers 2, even though Helldivers 2 is still successful, it's nowhere near as it was at first. I think any game that's a multiplayer game when it first comes out is going to be at its most successful. And then after that, it's what can they maintain? And I don't even know what is a good number to maintain. And also, be advised that they're just talking about people watching, which that's just a fragment of people that are into gaming. So, and I bet there's a lot of people that watch video games that don't play video games, so they wouldn't have been a sale anyway. Let's see. Amazingly, in all the time I've played, I hadn't come across a single player who I'd class as suspicious, which is a massive win. The criticisms are few and far between. There aren't enough weapon camos to unlock, which users needing to rely on the battle pass for the store to gain skins. Loading in and out of a match is clunky and results in blank screens while the lobby refreshes, which disrupts the pacing. Some of the spawn locations on maps are poorly thought through, often placing you too far from the action or too close to enemy spawns. The kickoff and escort is irritating with camping occurring right off the bat, but I get it. Yeah, kind of those basic things you see with FPSs, but at the end of the day, Ubisoft actually delivered a super competent and highly playable FPS, which we don't get a lot of outside of the typical stuff. Fortnite's new reload mode is basically Warzone's resurgence mode. That's pretty cool. Well, of course you'd want to add more modes. All right, something I haven't really followed Dr. Disrespect, but some banning stuff was happening, or he got unbanned and was explaining what really happened. I don't know. Ooh, love the little samurai look there. Microsoft addresses Tango Gameworks closure, sort of. Yeah, it seems like they did to me, action. It seemed to make sense. Basically, Tango, and I think I talked about this right? Tango Gameworks main guy left. So any group of developers needs a leader. They need someone to kind of help keep the team together and push a vision forward. With Shinji Mikami gone, Microsoft was just kind of like, well, we don't have anyone to kind of lead with a vision anymore. Well, I guess we don't need Tango Gameworks. That's pretty much what it was. I mean, the guy leaving is more of an issue than worrying about Microsoft. It makes sense. I mean, that's why, there's some criticism levied against Microsoft because they tend to not manage their studios that much. So then a game might come out bad. But I think that's Microsoft relies on the management of its studios to do just that. And I think, Microsoft sees without the head at Tango Gameworks anymore, that's not something that they can spend time managing. And so I get it. It's like Microsoft has these studios, but they need to have leaders in the studios doing that management. Elden Ring jumps to over 700,000 concurrent players on Steam following Shadow of the Erdtree launch. Yeah, I think we talked about this last week, but it's cool to see so many people getting back into Elden Ring. Some people still being like, yeah, this is too much for me. But no, it's cool. Super excited about that game, but yeah, I'm just not that interested in playing it at all. But I've been having fun playing Castlevanias. Yeah, that's funny. So I feel like for most of the year, I was like so excited for June to come around to play Elden Ring. And now that it's here, I just don't really care too much. But so then what's the next game that I'm excited to play? There's a lot of games I have on my plate between now and I will just say my birthday, end of August, because there's 2 games then I'm going to be playing. I don't know how much of them I'll be playing, but like the Gundam Breaker 4, I'll play that as much as I can stand until I get bored. And then Star Wars Outlaws is right around the same time. So what am I going to do before then? Well, it could be that Elden Ring clicks and I decide to play through it, or it might be that I play some other games that I have in my backlog. Like I got River City Girls 2 recently because I've played through that first one. So I might do that, but also the Starship Troopers Extermination. And actually, we're at the end of the show, but I wanted to show something real quick. They came out with this new update. Tons of new performance updates, map performance. From something that went from early access to almost full release, this Starship Troopers game did amazing, especially considering Helldivers 2 came out in the middle of it. Okay, so yeah, that's actually today that this update comes out, and I'll probably play it, because this is a much easier jump in and out, have some fun game than Helldivers 2. Helldivers 2 is like a commitment, almost, but yeah, weak points. Yeah, they really changed up little things about the Starship Troopers game to make it so much better. It's actually impressive, so. All right, well, I think that's it for today. I didn't really have much that I did, over the weekend gaming-wise, but check out the video I did on the Ultimate Custom DS that I made. It's one of my most popular videos I've come out recently. I mean, because, typically when I do these news stories, there's not really much I'm saying other than, there's the news. But having a video like that really got people's attention, so that's pretty cool. But anyway, well, thanks for watching. And yeah, we'll continue this tomorrow. Have a good rest of the day. We'll talk later.